Okay, everybody, it's officially 11 o'clock here in San Diego. Hi. Those of you that may not know me, I'm Tony Vogel. I'm the original founder of Dermodality Skin Solutions, and it also includes the pumpkin peel. So that's today's webinar. This is going to be a blast because one of my favorite subjects, actually, this is kind of the genesis of our entire business, started with the pumpkin. And it's pretty exciting because it is such a unique and special product that separates itself from really anything else that exists on the market that's kind of within that category. And I'll explain that and why it is. And we're going to talk about some of the changes that have occurred and why we've made some exciting changes, making it even better than the way it is right now. I'm assuming many of you have used our pumpkin peel before. And what this webinar is about is really being able to disseminate through the group of, not only a group of products that are out there, but, you know, like I mentioned earlier, the genesis of this brand and how it's developed and how amazing it is in so many different modalities. And that's really where we've excelled with the product. It's not one of these items you just slap on the skin and hope for the best. So we have Lauren here who handles all of our webinars and everything social media and everything marketing. I'm going to ask her to go ahead and let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about this. Oh, stay tuned. So at the end, this is a really, I think there's only like 12, 13 screens here. So I mean, as far as the pages. So stay tuned, you'll be pretty quick. We have some great specials today. And at the end of the webinar, you can go ahead and take advantage of those bundles, okay? There she is, my buddy, my friend, my partner in crime. There's Kelsey.
Hey, Tony.
Hey.
How's everybody?
I think they're all good. I'm assuming everybody's good. So Kelsey, tell me who you are.
All right, I'm Kelsey Cameron. I'm here in Colorado Springs, Colorado with Springs Body Sculpting and Aesthetics. I co-own this med spa with Dr. Matthew Dunham, who we perform minimally invasive, non-invasive medical aesthetic procedures from head to toe. So we do everything from body contouring, skin rejuvenation, aging solutions. So with that being said, I wanted a skincare line to join our med spa that would be along those lines, that was medical, that was prescriptive strength, that was going to be pretty results driven, no fluff, but just straight up results. And when I discovered Dermodality and saw the results for myself, that there was no question that I was going to use any other line. And then I got to know Tony and his amazing, like all of his wisdom and knowledge there. You know, it's honestly, this is a phenomenal line. My patients are so happy. And we use all of the back bar and retail home care products, and that's the only line I carry here.
So as we go through the webinar, we're going to talk about different modalities and uses and good stuff like that. So it's really nice to have you here, as you are usually here for us.
Thank you.
And especially that you can, we talk about the medical setting really being, I don't want to say it's just the zenith, because there's so many great individual facilities and things like that. But really when, we started approaching the medical industry, and it's amazing how many medical spas that we work with today, because of the use, the proper preconditioning. We talk a lot about preconditioning all the time, but it starts with the pumpkin peel. You got to be able to get the skin's indication of, or essentially test the skin and get indication where the tolerance is. And the pumpkin peel is the most incredible vehicle that's going to do that. So let's go ahead and start talking about history, about the pumpkin. So, so one of the things that we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the history in a second, but we're going to talk about the importance of what we've done as time went on from the very beginning when we launched the pumpkin peel. It used to be a standalone product. I don't think, when you go back 22 years, I mean, some people here that are in the webinar are probably that age, 22 years, but I mean, it's been a long time. It was almost a prehistoric age when it came to the skin industry. I've been around with this industry for about 33 years, I think, 34 years. It's been a long time. But a good part of it has been with this product. It's really been the catalyst for everything dermodality, how it started, how it developed. And it really developed from the professional use and being able to create change or allow for change. Now, Kelsey, you've been working with the pumpkin peel for about what, a year and a
Yep,
half?
about a year.
Okay. And this morning we were talking about certain things that you're doing and how its use is amazing. I mean, there's different modalities you can, we're going to talk about certain modalities that are relative to the other chemical peels, but truly there are so many different uses in so many different ways. And that's where we really mastered this. And especially the medical spas, preparing the skin. We talked about preparation of the skin for the more aggressive modalities that you're doing. And without that starting point, you don't know where you're going to go with this. And this indicates to you when the skin is prepared, and it's a great tool, and you'll understand it even more in just a little bit. And by the way, we're award winning. You know, the pumpkin peel, by the way, our pumpkin peel has been awarded multiple times Peel of the Year. And we also have some of our hybrid peels. I'll talk about them individually. And the Sea Vitality peel was also a Peel of the Year type peel. So it's really exciting. We've been around, like I said, for 22 years. And when I think back, you know, it's kind of funny. We were launching this product and nobody really understood what a pumpkin enzyme peel was. And it was interesting. Shortly after we launched the pumpkin peel, I remember other companies said, wait a minute, we can come out with a papaya peel, a cranberry peel, pineapple peel. I saw even chocolate peels. I mean, it really got a little bit out of hand. So this was good, like the big wave to the industry. Ours has always been something that's very active, very, very effective. And it's more than just doing a superficial peel as a propaganda type or promotional thing. I mean, this is really, truly something that allows us as we layer, and almost all the time, if not all the time, you're going to be layering. I'm going to talk about that. But from 22 years ago to today, so many things have changed. What is put in a product today? How these changes, like for example, we're going to talk about some of the changes we made to the pumpkin peel after many, many years. And one of them, I'll start just with one of them, is parabens. I mean, it was acceptable. In fact, when this was made, it was very accepted across the country with all products at the time to have parabens. But today, you see that very rarely. So one of the greatest accomplishments we've made within the last year was to eliminate the parabens in this product. We're going to talk about that. But really, we went around the country with this product. We did about 8 to 10 shows a year. We probably created 4,000 professional accounts with this product alone. So this product was, when I say it was a catalyst that really allowed dermodality to flourish and become what we are today, it really was. This was the key to everything. So it's been fun to be part of that all the way through the 22 years. When we say enzyme peel, that comes in different shapes and sizes. So I want to talk about, you know, what this does in the strength of this product. We'll get into that in just a second. But the key element of this is our multi-fruit, okay? I don't care if it was papaya, cranberry, pineapple, orange, lemon, whatever it is. It's not about the pumpkin that actually physically works. I mean, it's the base, of course. We're using beta carotene, then we added, but it's the actives that really make this product function. The pumpkin itself is lost in the process of manufacturing. So I don't care, you know, I don't care what peel it's in. It's not the pumpkin itself that does most of the work. It's actually our multi-fruit. And this is a highly concentrated group of ingredients, primarily bilberry, and I'll talk about bilberry in a second, and then sugar cane, sugar maple, orange, and lemon. So these are the components, and then we, of course, added a multitude of anti-inflammatory ingredients, and that's actually what differentiated it actually from what type of peels were out there. You had glycolic peels, lactic acid peels, and salicylic acid peels 22 years ago. And this was truly the first hybrid peel that was created for the industry. It allowed you to have some strength and value, but also had some protection, especially with the anti-inflammatory level. In fact, when we did the reformulation, I remember getting the first, not the first, it was going to be the final first batch. And it didn't have, they didn't add the anti-inflammatory ingredients, and it felt unbelievably strong. I mean, it was like too strong. Everybody said, great, it does amazing. But amazing is different for every, with everybody. We need to have peels that you can control, and you can control the effect on the skin itself. So you want to have anti-inflammatory ingredients, and you want to have, some great vitamins, antioxidants, and you have to have the strength and value. So we get that from primarily bilberry. So bilberry is the catalyst for the pumpkin peel. It's highly concentrated. It's the most important and probably the most active ingredient. Not probably, it is the most active ingredient we have in this product. So what we're going to get from that is one. I don't know if you know about bilberry, but bilberry actually is used in a lot of different drugs for macular degeneration because of the vasodilation value. In fact, Kelsey, you probably didn't even hear this one. Pilots used to drink bilberry before they flew in World War II.
Really?
And the reason why is their pupils would dilate and they could see better at night. So on the skin,
Wow.
it works so much like that. So it gives us this great vasodilation, and it allows us penetration. Remember, if you look at the pH of the pumpkin peel, it's 3.2. Now, the reason it's 3.2 is legally, we really can't go much below that because different states have different pH levels. The lower the pH, the greater the penetration. So we got to figure out ways to actually get greater penetration without causing irritation. And using bilberry accomplishes that. It's the most important ingredient within the pumpkin. It actually is where the enzyme value is coming from in a highly concentrated form. If we're just using the enzymes from the pumpkin, by the time we get done making it, there's only 10% of it left from the very beginning. So things have changed so much from the formulation to the execution and usage of the product itself. So the beauty of this product is highly, highly active, and specifically with this multi-fruit, and more importantly, the amount of bilberry that we're using. And I will tell you, with the new formulation, we actually tripled the amount of bilberry for a specific reason that we're going to talk about in just a second. So, so you're going to get this exfoliation from the AHAs. One of the items, and I'm getting ahead of myself just for a second here, we expect, and I'm asking everybody to layer, not to use the pumpkin by itself. It's not made that way anymore. That was the old days. That was the 22-year-old formulation. We want to be more targeted as far as the skin condition, and skin types. The more we can target this product, the better the results, because really it's more individualized. So that's got to be communicated to your client. So we have 3 different superficial peels that we're going to talk about. And each one of these, as we layer the pumpkin over the top of them, what it's going to do, it's going to drive that underlining peel in. And it's the underlining peel that actually does the work primarily, plus you get the benefit from the pumpkin from the outside, from the exfoliation. My question to you, Kelsey.
Yes.
Is each time your professionals are treating the skin with the pumpkin peel, how much of a change of the skin do you see? Pigmentation, texture, that type of thing?
Significant. And I'm talking like right after treatment. We have people that are calling us several days later wanting to get on our monthly membership program simply for that reason. And what I love about it is we use this, like you said, to layer on top of our underlining peels for correction. But then once people get to the corrective phase that they're looking for and they're really happy, you've got to maintain that. So I still use the pumpkin peel. I use it with my microdermabrasion machine, followed by the pumpkin, for people to maintain that too. So I use this, I go through this like water. We use this for both correction and maintenance. And people could not be happier. I just barely used it to go to a conference with the microdermabrasion right out, and then the pumpkin following, and people were commenting on my skin left and right.
I want to, just because I know what type of microdermabrasion you do have, it's a unique one. It's not like any other, first of all.
Right.
It's 180 grid, and that's why I suggested that you actually work with that particular microdermabrasion, because when you're layering, you want a really even texture before you put the pumpkin over the top of it, or your underlining peel. So if, let's just say I have a device that maybe is a diamond tip, you're not going to get it as even, and sometimes you're going to get you get the little too deep at different areas. This way, does it almost feel like baking soda? Your crystals?
Yeah,
Very soft.
very soft. It's but it's intensive at the same time. That's where I'm the one you recommended there for me. I mean, it's I love it because it's so high powered and but yet yeah, it's not, it doesn't feel like your skin is getting like rubbed off like crazy. And then the oxygenation spray that we use right after, and then followed by our pumpkin peel. I mean, the even results and the like, it's again excellent for maintenance or even for an event that you're going to go to. But it's a phenomenal procedure or like combo to do once you've hit your corrective phase from the hybrid peels and layering them.
You know, when you get your client preconditioned enough to actually do what you just described, you know, I'm seeing, you know, and this is still in a facial. So we actually are in a facial. We can, once we remove everything, we can finish the facial. But
Yeah.
the beauty of this is it's almost like a level 2 peel result. And that's
Oh
really
yeah.
what you're doing after. It actually changes the skin. I've never,
Hmm.
I don't see a client not change. There's a pigmentation change, there's a texture change. You have a great deal of decongestion, destroying the bacteria. It's so strong, but yet you have very little you have no post irritation. You know, it's just
Correct.
such it's a unique combination that we've created, not just from the pumpkin, but the underlining peels that go with it. We created it for the pumpkin.
Yeah, I was able to go to that conference with no like redness or peeling or anything, but my skin was just glowing.
Yeah, your skin always glows.
Oh, thank you, Tony. It's
No, I
dermodality.
mean, do you mind sharing how old you are?
I'm 37, actually. I just turned 37 years old. So
Amazing, just really amazing. And I
thank
say
you.
that in a very um, these products do so much, and the more you work with, hopefully I didn't embarrass you.
No, not at all. I don't get embarrassed easily. I
I
appreciate
mean,
it.
I
I
look
appreciate
at
your
you,
compliment.
honestly, if I look at you right now, you look like you're 22 or 23 years old. So I mean,
Well, thank
so
you. I'll take
there
that
we go.
compliment.
So that's Dermodality. And we're going to talk about some of the retail products that you're using too, and what they've done
Yeah,
and stuff like that. It's
I'll
not
share
in
my
the
entire regimen.
program, but I'd like to hear from you on that.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at, I have one hand that I've been putting vitamin E, vitamin C, and sunscreen on for like 10, 12 years. And the other hand, I haven't. And it's so significant. It's unbelievable, actually. I was looking at those pictures this morning, and I almost wanted to put them out here so you guys could see that. But there's a huge, there's so much benefit from not only doing the pumpkin peels. We're gonna talk about acne in just a little bit and how it works from that standpoint. But aging, it's just so insane. And I've been doing pumpkin peels on the hand along with our vitamin A and everything. It's such an incredible, incredible value. Look at, I see that. That's nice, the microdermabrasion, oxygenation right there. So anyway, so let's, you know, we're going to talk about the exfoliation. We're going to talk about the controlled strength. You know, it's not just being strong. There's a lot of strong products out there. I mean, we might as well just go back to the ancient days where we used to throw glycolic acid on the on the skin, and we just burn the skin. You know, I mean, it's like, okay, I got a license to burn, and you know, let's just cross our fingers and make sure that, you know, something bad doesn't happen. Especially when they were working with Fitzpatrick 4, 5, and 6. But today we have that strength and value. I think it's even greater, but it's in control, and that's the key element or key thing I'd like to really emphasize when we talk about this as we go through this PowerPoint. So you can there's so many modalities that we use this with, and I mentioned the microdermabrasion because that was kind of lead into what I'm saying right here. We're using it prior to doing, we have to remove it, of course, but we will do that prior to doing even TCA peels, modified Jesner peels. I mean, so we're going to do the pumpkin peel layered, you know, layer over the specific underlining peel, as we're going to discuss, remove it again, then, you know, cleanse the skin, dehydrate the skin, and then go forward from there. So, you know, so we're able to do so much more than just what you think or maybe what you're doing right now. And if you look at our protocol book, we probably have 12 protocols with pumpkin. So, I mean, it's used for so many things. The more we can get the skin ready for aggression or be able to work with any type of skin and do that, offer that correction, that's a pretty unique product. It's probably the most versatile product that there is in the industry. And I'm not trying to exaggerate, it just is. I I can't see the next one because I just see something that just popped up in front of the microdome. Okay, we're there. Okay, we can go to the next page. Something went over my screen. I'm blind. I can't see. So here's what's exciting. Okay, so we had the pumpkin peel. We launched it, like I said, 22 years ago. And for 21 years, it was the same formula. And it was interesting, probably about, maybe about 15 years ago, you'd hear a couple people say, hey, you know, you got parabens in this product. Why don't you take it out? I'd call the lab and I'd say, hey, Glenn. Glenn is from the lab that created it. He was the biochemist. And I said, Glenn, you know, how can we take out the parabens? He says, it can't be done. And I said, what do you mean it can't be done? Well, based on this formula, it just can't be done. It'll break down. It will break down. People will have a product that goes bad in 6 months. I said, are you sure? Okay, another 5 years ago, Glenn, we got to take out the parabens. Too many people are saying, at least, 1 in 5 are saying, hey, you need to take out the parabens in this natural product. And I said, I can't. I mean, it is what it is. Creating this product and creating the type of success and value, you become afraid of actually making the changes that are necessary. So we finally, after, I don't know a person that wants parabens in a single product today. So if they're seeing parabens, they're saying, hey, it's not for me. And today, I can say throughout our Dermodality line of products, just not our pumpkin peel, every single product we produce is free of parabens. And that's really significant because we basically had to reformulate each item to be able to do that. I was part of that throughout. It was a project. It took us 3 years to finish our skincare line because of it. So taking out parabens, you just don't take out parabens and replace it. It's just a very, very complex process of building this. And by the way, Glenn, we did it. We did it without parabens. And I'm so proud of what this product is and what we've done. We've increased the bilberry by 300%, so 3 times the bilberry. I'm going to tell you, that was one of the keys to being able to do what we're doing. So the bilberry does so much, like I mentioned before. Bilberries is where we get our vasodilation. Now that we're 100% of the time layering the pumpkin over the top of our underlining peels, our 3 superficial underlining peels, or I should say hybrid peels, once we layer it over the top, it's now being able to drive it in deeper. Think about this. Glycolic acid has a very small molecular weight. It's a 2-carbon molecule, very small, penetrates quickly into the skin. Mandelic acid, for example, which I think is one of the most amazing developments in the industry. By the way, we were the first to launch Mandelic to the industry, both in the M-Corrective retail product as well as the Mandelic peel. The cool thing is, or actually the bad thing about Mandelic, it's got a large molecule. If you just put it on the skin and expect it to work, it's not going to work very well, simply because it can't penetrate. So you got to either bring the pH way down, which we've done in the retail side, but professionally, because we have limitations, we can't go below 3.0, right? So we got to figure out a way to actually drive that in. Well, welcome, Mr. Pumpkin. The pumpkin does the work. So once it's layered over the top of that large molecule, it basically opens up the door. So now that great value, now I don't know if you guys know out there that Mandelic is probably the only ingredient that is both an AHA and a BHA. That means you can break down encapsulations of oils, of skin, bacteria that's sitting in there, encapsulated in there. It just does all the things that we want a BHA to do. So it's decongesting. And when we can drive it in now, it's even better than that salicylic acid that we used to use. And just drive it in, destroy the bacteria, decongest the glands, but at the same time, it's very anti-inflammatory. One of the things, I'm going to ask you another question, Miss Kelsey.
Yes.
She's writing notes. She's a note taker.
I'm such a note taker. I'm nerdy, and I create I have my own Tony tidbit book.
You got the tidbit book out.
Tony's tidbits.
So when you're working with acne, tell me a little bit about what you're doing and what you're seeing from that process.
Well, as we know, everybody's, it's customized, but at the same time, I've kind of got this protocol down. When I have people come in with acne, I start them actually with the Mandelic plus the pumpkin. Immediately they notice a clearing of like starting of the clearing of the acne within very few short days. I also make sure that I send them home with the correct products. I sit down with them, actually. I schedule an hour for consultations before any treatment to really see exactly what they're currently using. And then I look it up to make sure if, if anything in there could possibly be causing some of their problems. So I want to help them find the underlying root cause as well. And they're happy about that, because they're like, finally somebody who's also like educating me too, and not just telling me what to do, because I want my clients to be educated there. So so we go through what they're currently using, and then I talk to them about the need for starting with Dermodality. And sometimes if they are bulking at buying all of it, if they already have a bunch of stuff, then I find the ones that need to be incorporated in immediately to help correct. And then I get them on their first treatment, which is usually going to be Mandelic plus pumpkin. They start with that. They're back within a week for the rest of the line. And then sign up the monthly membership again to continue to get their treatments as well. So again, I treat everything as corrective and let them know it's going to be, 5 or 6 corrective treatments before you get to maintenance, in addition to your home care. And we may tweak as necessary, but the main things, I always make sure that people have a vitamin A intense, a vitamin C intense if they possibly can, and then also something, depending on how severe their acne is, of the Blemish RX line, usually the Blemish peel pads if they have already a bunch of skincare at home. And those are the 3 main things I send them home with, and then we slowly add in more. But because I want people to know, like, they've got to use some of the retail if they're not going to use it all right away. But typically those star products, in addition to their treatment that day, are enough for them to be so impressed that they're ready to use the entire line.
Yeah.
And to commit.
And here's the targeting message as well, is that everybody is going to respond differently, and you need to start somebody at a point where you can understand their tolerance, and having them, being able to layer the pumpkin, get the penetration. And especially with acne, you got to make sure that as we do with all of our products related to acne, are highly anti-inflammatory. So here you are, now have a AHA that's a BHA as well, and you have something that's anti-inflammatory. So the reason we increased our bilberries so much is that heat that you feel, and it's not, I don't even want to say heat, the warmth that you get from our pumpkin, or the spiciness, really is derived from its activity. And the bilberry is that activity, and that's what's actually allowing for that great penetration, all the goodies that are going to resurface the skin, and especially, and probably most importantly, this very unique, as I'm going to talk about in just a second, value of our Mandelic peel for that type of skin. And we have some good pictures too that you're going to be able to see. So, okay, so we added more bilberry, greater penetration, greater value, greater enzyme. So we got both the surface as well as the underneath from the underlining peel. Then we replaced the synthetic aroma. So there was a synthetic pumpkin spice aroma. Everybody said, I really like that really, spicy aroma. Well, again, if there's a paraben that's in that aroma to hold it together, which there was, you have to eliminate it. So we have eliminated the synthetic pumpkin spice, and now I can tell everybody it's 100% purely organic when it comes to aroma in almost every single element of the pumpkin peel today. So now it is what it was supposed to be, as pure, as clean, and as organic. And I think we improved. In fact, everybody that uses it, not a single person since we launched it, I think it's been 6 months, 5 months, but 100% everybody loves the slight change that we made with the aroma, and to stay natural and organic was really important to get both of those. That's the best of both worlds. And for a product that wasn't supposed to be done, or we weren't supposed to be able to do it, we were able to do it both with the aroma, and it's a little bit sweeter, a little bit softer, but yet we still have that great pumpkin, not just pumpkin, but we have the cinnamon and the nutmeg and all these great ingredients. So from an aroma standpoint, we improved the aroma, if you can believe that. And I really mean it. It is amazing. I mean, I remember the day I'm literally, and I have pictures of it, me mixing everything at my house on the table. And, my daughter comes up and says, "What are you doing?" I'm making this brilliant new pumpkin peel. And it came out, it's insane. It just really, really has come out to be insane. And then, you know, the ingredients, the texture of the product, it wasn't a complaint, but it was something that I really would see often where it would dry too quickly. Did you notice that the old is a little bit cakier, the old formula,
Yeah.
and it wasn't as even in application. You actually had to use more product, so you're kind of wasting product. So we add a little bit more texturizing value, so it has a little bit of vascular, you know, feel. You have a little bit more slip, I should say, and that's going to give you the ability to actually apply it more evenly. It's not going to dry as quickly, so you don't have to take a chisel and take it off after it hardens, because that was the problem. If you're going to leave it on for 10 minutes, you know, it would have been a problem, or it was a problem because it hardened, and you'd have to like massage it off and do all kinds of tricks. Everybody had a trick how they're going to get it off, so we had to correct that, and we did. So we really love what we did there. There's so many things that the results of those items have really changed. In fact, you'll probably get more treatments from our 16 ounce than you did with the 22 ounce size. So it's great. So you use less product, get more from the product. Let's start doing the décolleté and those areas too. Make sure we're layering on the décolleté with the mandelic peel for sure when we start, because that's a sensitive area. One thing I want to tell you, with the increase of bilberry, we have to reduce the timing. We have to reduce it down to about 5 minutes rather than 10 minutes. So the activity is greater, penetration is greater, the results are intensified. But again, we're using it with our underlining peel, so it's all going to be targeted with our hybrid peels. So those are the changes. So what you need to do, very, very important. I think most people really have figured it out that, you know, degreasing is critical. When we say degreasing, you can cleanse the skin, but you're not taking all the oils out that are going to actually stop the penetration or limit the absorption of these great products. So it's critical that we're using something to actually do that. We have our pre-chemical solution pads, and they're 70% isopropyl alcohol and acetone. And it is 100% pure acetone. I would say, I'm going to ask you this question. Before using the pumpkin peel, Kelsey, sorry to break
No, you're fine. I'm doing both. Writing something down.
So before using that, before your treatments, you've always saw the use of alcohol and acetone in the medical setting, correct?
Correct. We before everything, every skin resurfacing, even our body contour devices, before we put it on, we always clean off the skin to degrease it.
You can't get the penetration. Beyond that, one of the things that I promised that I would deliver results with all of our products that would exceed everybody's expectations, but you're going to limit those expectations by not properly reducing or removing sebum, you know, other oils, residue, things like that, makeup, that kind of still hard to get out. Sometimes you cleanse the skin, you think you got it off, and then you don't. I'm going to talk about usage as well, and how we have to make sure that there's a secondary cleanse before we do our facial masks and pre-extraction masks, things like that.
And Tony, we got a question that's a really good one. It says, if bilberry is anti-inflammatory, why is it not good for rosacea?
If bilberry is not good for, bilberry is not anti-inflammatory. Okay. You wouldn't consider that we add anti-inflammatory ingredients like white willow bark. It's a great question.
I think, yeah, that was, she misunderstood the bilberry being anti-inflammatory.
Right,
okay.
Right. No, bilberry is not anti-inflammatory, but it's not, it doesn't cause inflammation if used with the proper anti-inflammatory ingredients, especially when we layer the mandelic, which is anti-inflammatory. And then within the pumpkin peel, there's a funny, I know most of you know what aquaphor is. Aquaphor, right? That's with the bisabolol, and they use petrolatum. Petrolatum is synthetic. We don't use anything synthetic like petrolatum, but that's what's in aquaphor. But the key is the bisabolol. So it comes from chamomile. Actually, just you want to know exactly how it's done. This is really key and really important for us, and we use a high percentage of this from an anti-inflammatory level. So it's an active. So what they do is that you extract the chamomile, and they do what's called a substrand. So they actually separate out specifically the bisabolol. That's what's actually the key calming aspect of chamomile. So it's actually derived from chamomile. Little side story there. But that was a great question. It's the white willow bark, the bisabolol, and funny name, and if we're using with our mandelic peel, it's the mandelic acid that's very anti-inflammatory.
All right. And we can with this pumpkin peel put it over the mandelic for rosacea.
Yeah, we're going to start when we're working with rosacea. We're always going to start with the mandelic peel first. As long as the skin does not become red or irritated, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to layer the pumpkin over the top. But with that in mind, we're not going to leave it on for more than a minute. We want to get it to penetrate. We want the mandelic to penetrate into the skin. And we use the pumpkin as a vehicle to do that.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Hopefully that answers that question.
Beautifully.
Okay, so let's talk about mandelic. I love this peel. I love it so much that as we were formulating, we were creating the retail line, we started using mandelic in a lot of products. So I don't know if you know, I formulate the products, and I did a lot of research, obviously, with mandelic before we even launched the mandelic peel. But there's so many great things, like I just mentioned. I mean, especially as we treat acne, I can tell you from even the very beginning stages with my children. So when the last time my oldest daughter ever broke out was when she was 11 years old. She's 27 now. And it has everything to do with mandelic acid and using a pumpkin peel and washing your skin at least twice, not at least, at least once a day, actually twice a day. So if you do those key things, use mandelic acid, it just is so great for reducing acne. She has that type of skin that's somewhat oily, and she played softball, all through college. So she was always in dirt. And the mandelic was great from, the antibacterial. So the cleanser that she was using is our mandelic cleanser. So mandelic is something I love to work with. It's a great ingredient. I use it in so many different things. In fact, several products that most of you don't even know. So pretty cool ingredient. It's always our first time peel. Again, the only negative with mandelic acid is, one, we try to get, 3.0 is the lowest we can go with it. So we need to use the pumpkin over the top for it to penetrate to get the goodies. I've said that about 6 times, but it's critically important. But it's just so anti-inflammatory. It's so great for the skin. And we work with different skin types. We need to find out the skin's tolerance. And there's got to be a starting point for a new client or somebody that's never preconditioned their skin. And mandelic is my starting point. And for a lot of people, that's what they use all the time. So if we're going to do, now we just discussed what you did last week before your conference. You did microdermabrasion. Of course, you used the mandelic peel first, right?
Yeah.
And the reason you did that, I'm assuming, is to make sure that your skin was tolerant enough to layer the pumpkin over the top.
Right.
So we're just not machines, and we're doing, okay, we're just going to use the mandelic and we're going to use the pumpkin. We need to test the skin. The skin's tolerance is really important. Your results are critical. We're going to be able to get more results the longer I can leave the pumpkin on the skin, up to 5 minutes being max, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I want that change to occur, which occurs at the greatest level. And by layering it with the mandelic, we get all that. We get control, we get penetration, we get exfoliation, we get this lightening and brightening, we get the identity of what the skin's tolerance is going to be. So we get the direction of that client's skin. And when you learn from here, it tells you how quickly you can move up in strength, not only with your level 1 peels, but if you are going to do some more significant peels, you got to find out what the tolerance is. And what the tolerance starts here is generally the tolerance throughout. So just keep that in mind. So we got to work on tolerance. I think that's it. 25, I'll just, formulation, it's 25% mandelic. I have 10% lactic acid, 2% salicylic, and then we use 2% L-ascorbic acid. That's a lot, by the way. When you look at the formula, I hear people say, well, we have 35% mandelic in our peel. Well, great, okay. Does it penetrate? What are you using to actually drive it in? So it's just sitting on the surface at an 8 carbon molecule. It's not going in very far. So by adding lactic acid, it gives us greater penetration, greater exfoliation. And again, I don't want to, I don't like to use more than 15% lactic, and I never use, put that aside from this product because there's no glycolic. But when I use glycolic, I don't use more than 50 or 10% glycolic. These are my, basically our rules, is I really don't like to use too much more than 15% lactic. Sometimes I go to 20, like the pumpkin peel and our C Vitality that I'm going to talk about next. But there's a reason I want to go there. But when it's testing the skin, I want to make sure I don't go above 10%, but it assists the exfoliation. I got the salicylic acid that's going to be decongesting even more from the glands, the follicles, destroy bacteria, doing all the things that we want the salicylic acid to do. So great, great peel. It's probably, when you combine those two, there's no better combination for acne, period, when it comes to developing your peels. Next. So the C Vitality actually was runner-up with Dermoscope for Peel of the Year recently. Very exciting peel. This is our first hybrid peel we created. This one, we do have the 10% glycolic, 15 lactic, so we use a combination of the two. We have 17% L-ascorbic acid. It's a lot of vitamin C. This peel, what you're going to do is you're going to notice a great deal of brightening and lightening. By the way, the price of the peel is very, very good too, so it's not that expensive. By the way, we're never using more than 1 cc. It's just slightly less than 1 cc. So if you have a bottle that's 1 ounce, you're going to get 30 treatments from it, okay, or more. If you're using less than, if you're going to do the décolleté, we just use 1 cc. This is a great peel because it brightens, lightens, it decongests. It's not quite like Mandelic as far as decongesting, but it has great value as far as exfoliation and some decongesting. But the brightening and lightening effect you get with this peel is fantastic, and it's very tolerant. It's people can use it. I can't even see that word right now, so I'll just say most everybody can use it right away. You can layer with it almost right away. We get very little irritation. It's just a great combination, a beautiful peel. Love, love this peel. This would be the next level up from the Mandelic. So we start with the Mandelic. As long as the skin is tolerant, we go right to C Vitality. And then, ta-da, we go to Intensive Brightening Peel. Okay, so our Intensive Brightening Peel, we put a ton in this as far as everything that's going to brighten, lighten, resurface, decongest. This is the premium peel, I think, in the industry. I really believe that. When we layer it with our pumpkin, there's nothing else like it as far as doing everything all together. So as long as the skin's now preconditioned enough and tolerant enough, this is where I go to, because we're using 16% mandelic acid so we're using a lot of mandelic, 15% lactic, 10% glycolic, we have 2% salicylic, and we have 8% brightening agents. So we have, you know, the bilberries in there, but we also have, and that's again going to create a little bit vasodilation, but we have alpha-arbutin, licorice root, we have the kojic acid. So we have this really good fortified group of brightening and lightening agents. And what that does also, and this is really important, if you can stop and listen to this and remember this point, as we move into more aggressive peels or more effective peels that are going to be deeper penetrating, yes, one, we want to precondition. This is your preconditioning peel before you go to a level 2 peel. But because of what we're putting in here, along with our vitamin C and vitamin A at home, what you're starting to do at a high level is stabilize the melanin. So not only are you brightening and lightening, because these are amazing tyrosine inhibitors, what you're doing is you're stabilizing the melanin. Very important, because once you start pushing the skin, that melanin is going to rush to the surface, especially when you're working with Fitzpatrick's 4, 5, and 6. So it is not just critical; it is got to be done. You got to be using vitamin C and vitamin A. At this point, you're using this product, your clients are going home with vitamin C and vitamin A, and the results are just insane. And we talk about we always talk about the vitamin A. It's one of the biggest game changers in the industry. Our vitamin A is stronger than, I know it has nothing to do directly with the intensive brightening peel, but our vitamin A is stronger than retin A at 0.05. okay, with the amount of retinol. It's a pure retinol, and we double it, so it actually starts at a 1.6% retinol to get a 0.8. So you have to double it because it's in a 50% base. So our vitamin A, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And I ask this question quite a bit because everybody, it's a little bit different. I know your treatment selection's a little bit more vast at your spa, but when you get your clients on vitamin A and vitamin C, and then you are working with the intensive brightening peel, do you find that there's a lot of clients that's all you have to do?
Yes. To be honest with you, we go through our intensive brightening peel and our mandelic peel, like along with pumpkin, probably the fastest of all that we have. Same thing in my retail vitamin A intense and vitamin C intense those are always the ones I have to reorder more and more and more of as well. That's just the perfect combination for us. And that's, yeah, I rarely have had to take anybody beyond that because it just gets the job done. And I'm talking with severe hyperpigmentation too.
So it's amazing. And now,
Yeah.
if you in how you can make that even stronger and better, you could actually remove that once the skin's tolerant. Then I could go to my retinols too, if you needed to. Let's just say I want to just do a blast of retinol. So the beauty of retinol at a high concentration in a peel, and we have two key actually, the Long Island iced tea peel and our Cascade retinol peel 10. If I'm using the Long Island iced tea peel, you guys wondering why I named it Long Island iced tea peel? You're supposed to ask a question. Why, Tony, did you name it
Why,
Long
Tony, did
Island?
you name it that? I'm dying to know.
Because it's very strong, but you don't feel it, just like the drink.
So, I would say so too. Yes, that's a great combo.
So let's just say I am working with deeper seated pigmentation. I have mature age skin. I want to stimulate the growth factors. I want to wake them up. And I'm already doing it with our layering with the chemical peels. But once I use retinol, and if I use it in a high concentration, and when we're using our Long Island iced tea peel, it starts at 8, okay? But it balances out to 4. So it's 4% retinol. It is pure retinol. So this is very, very strong. So what happens is it stimulates your growth factors. We do know that vitamin A is the only clinically proven ingredient that's going to stimulate, not just vitamin A, excuse me, retinoic acid is the only clinically proven ingredient to stimulate collagen, elastin, and fibroblasts. 100% of everybody that uses it is going to benefit from that in doing that. Okay, so by being able to put that in a product, a peel, it's going to stimulate your growth factors. So we could do, if you want to take it to the next level, and a great way to take it, as long as you're using vitamin A at home and you've used the vitamin A and vitamin C, you know, at least what we recommend from the Fitzpatrick, you can get online and go to our education and education resources, and you can see every protocol and also our Fitzpatrick scale, how many weeks you're going to need to be on vitamin A and C, and already have done the intensive brightening peel and the pumpkin peel together. You could actually remove that, cleanse the skin, redehydrate the skin, and use our Long Island iced tea. I'm seeing what almost are miracles with skin, that combination. Just insane. I have this gal, she was Egyptian. She had pigmentation on her arms. We did actually a 4-layer peel starting with microderm on her arms. Big difference from the face, you guys, so don't get all excited here that we're going to do this on any ordinary person. But she had what looked like melasma on her arm, and we did microdermabrasion. We then crystals are just wiped off. Layered the intensive brightening peel, the pumpkin peel over the top of that, removed it, redehydrated the skin, applied the Long Island iced tea peel, left that on the skin, layered over the top of that, we use our Moisture Soothe Plus, because once you have it, you fan it in, you're gonna fan it in the Long Island iced tea probably at least about 5 minutes, okay? So once you do that, you fan it in, it's doing what it's gonna do. You can't stop it, by the way, you can't neutralize it, it's just working. And then what we would do is we would use the Moisture Soothe Plus right over we use the Moisture Soothe Plus right over the top, sunscreen, she was done. I get those pictures, and I got to find the pictures because I have them. The next day, literally for 20 years, she's had that pigmentation, and we removed all of it on her top half of her arm. So when I say miracles to your people, what we've created with our peels, when I say miracles to a lot of people, correcting their pigmentation, reducing the sign, the signs of aging significantly, brightening and lightening the skin, yet doing it in a way that's not causing harm to the client, we've done everything. And
Tony? Hello? Mhm. Can you guys hear me? Oh, well, hello, everybody. Well, while we wait for Tony to get back on, do you guys, I'm reading some your comments, or anybody have any questions for me in the meantime while we wait? Sometimes get some typical technical difficulties. Appreciate your patience. Yeah, I did get a question about using this even for rosacea. And for rosacea, we would use the Mandelic. We wouldn't do the, at least for right now, vitamin C or the C Vitality or the intensive brightening. We wouldn't do for rosacea. You would just use the Mandelic plus pumpkin. And then I just got asked, my microdermabrasion machine, it's called Clear Skin FX. I have the oxygenating Microderm 5000. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. And then preconditioning your décolleté with other parts of the body. The décolleté and the neck actually can be pretty sensitive, in my opinion, for me, even sometimes more so than my face. So I do, when I use vitamin A Intense and vitamin C Intense in my preconditioning at home, I always go into my neck and my chest as well, because it can be pretty sensitive, yes. Let's see here. And yes, I think this will be recorded for future, for the future viewing. I think it's put on our Instagram page, Dermodality Skin Solutions, the next day. So you can absolutely look at this. Oh, and it'll be on YouTube. So, and I'm not sure if we'll be getting Tony back there, but, or if we have any more slides. Lauren, if you can hear me, do you want me to go through any slides or do anything there? Otherwise, more questions. Oh, I think Tony's popping back on. There he is. Hey, Tony.
okay.
There we are.
Okay, I'm back. Everybody stayed. All right, thank you. What did you have to say while I was gone?
Well, I was just answering a few questions about rosacea. Again, I told them to really only use for rosacea the Mandelic and pumpkin. I would never use the C Vitality or the intensive brightening, at least as of right now, unless there's other protocols there, but I would probably stick with the Mandelic and pumpkin. Does that sound about right?
Perfect. I just want to let everybody know what happened. My internet went out. So I quickly went on my phone and popped up my hotspot. So nobody call me, please. So, okay, so let's go on real quick because I don't want to lose you again. Sorry, but so this is amazing. So let's talk about this. When we're talking about this is a very quick illustration of somebody recent that actually sent this to Lauren. So this is where we've done the Mandelic layered with the pumpkin. It's what, Punk Peel once a month has been able to keep her skin acne free all the time. So this is amazing. Look at this is just a short time. I was told by Lauren when she spoke to this gal, the esthetician, this happened within the first treatment. So this is pretty exciting, but this is, I don't want to say it's common 100%, but it's very common almost all the time. I mean, this is what we get. And one of the things that we really get is reduction of inflammation. And when you get done using, let's just say we're layering the Mandelic, which was done here. You layer the Mandelic over pumpkin over the Mandelic, the inflammation on the right-hand side from what you're seeing immediately, that's the first thing you notice. It almost looks like you pre-extracted, which pretty much does. So it's like you've extracted it and the inflammation is down immediately, and you'll see that right away. So this is pretty cool. Okay, we got a little demo here. You didn't expect this, Kelsey, did you?
No, let's see.
It's Linda. Oh, do I hear the video? I don't. Are you hearing it?
I don't hear it.
And our pumpkin peel, which uses a 30% combination of acids as well as bilberry extract, which is a vasodilator that helps with the penetration and the expansion of some heat within the skin. At the conclusion of that, we're going to remove the pumpkin, and if that was the end of our treatment, we'd apply sunscreen and we'd be on our way. However, when we add the facial treatment, the signature facial treatment using our prescription facial system, we're going to be doing a mask. And we have choices of masks. We have our Rasul clay mask for oily skin, troubled skin, skin that requires detoxification. We have our seaweed mask, which is great for anti-aging. And then we have our oatmeal mask, which is really designed for more sensitive skin and for calming. So our master esthetician, Catherine Pollock, is going to perform these for us. So let's go see how it's done.
Hello, my name is Catherine. Today we'll be doing a treatment by Dermodality Skin Solutions. I specialize in their hybrid chemical peels. Today we are going to be doing a pure Mandelic peel along with our pumpkin peel. This is a double treatment and great for most clients. My client is a Fitzpatrick of about 2. She is a little red, oily, and has some congestion. This is going to be great with our Mandelic acid peel. Mandelic helps to bring down inflammation, it decongests the pores, and it's very antibacterial. It's also safe for rosacea clients, and this is an added feature for your menu. Now we can offer facials, exfoliating facials for rosacea clients. We are going to put our pumpkin peel on top of that. This is going to add more exfoliation that helps to brighten the skin, also decongests the pores, and leaves our client glowy and beautiful. We are going to start the facial with a cleanse. I'm using our Mandelic Green Tea Cleanser. Mandelic Green Tea is anti-inflammatory and decongesting. This is going to help remove any debris and oil from the face. All right, and now using our pre-pep pads. These are pre-chemical peel pads. They help to degrease the face. This is removing oil, extra debris, lymph. We want to make sure to dry out the face completely before putting our Mandelic acid on. This is to help the acid penetrate better and the skin absorbs it to the maximum. Using 1 cc of our pure Mandelic acid peel, put that into a glass dish and saturate a glycolic applicator, or you may use a fan brush for application as well. I'm using a glycolic applicator, and starting at the chin, I evenly distribute the peel around the face. And we're gonna let this peel sit for about 3 minutes. Yourself or your client can use a fan for faster penetration and to relieve any discomfort from the peel. Fanning the face helps the product penetration. We want the skin to absorb all of our Mandelic peel. While you're fanning the face, you are also watching for any reaction of the client's skin. If there is red undertones that are not desired, then you would be taking the peel off. You are also watching for product penetration, and you will know this is happening when you see the glistening from the peel absorb into the skin. We also want to be sure that the peel is absorbed into the skin before applying the pumpkin peel. This will help the pumpkin peel absorb with the maximum effect. Now that you've waited 3 minutes for the mandelic acid peel to absorb, we're gonna apply the pumpkin peel. We're going to leave the pumpkin peel on for 7 minutes. The maximum minutes for this treatment is 10. I'm starting at the chin and working my way around. Once applied, I will be putting the fan towards my client's face. This also helps for product penetration and any discomfort the client may feel. During this wait time, be sure to stay in communication with your client. Ask them how they're feeling. You can use a scale 1 to 10. If they're feeling around a 5 or a 6, the peel might be a little too strong, and then this is when you would remove it. Okay, remove the pumpkin peel. I'm going to remove the bulk of it and then go back and use a gentle cleanser to be sure we got all of it off. Okay, now that we've removed the pumpkin, that concludes our double treatment for the Dermodality Skin Solutions Hybrid Peel, the mandelic followed by pumpkin. Okay, to make this a full facial, I'm going to use one of our secondary masks. This is going to be oatmeal, Rasool clay, or seaweed mask. I've chosen our Rasool clay because our client is a little bit red. It's going to bring down redness, and she does have an oily skin type. This is going to help to bring out any additional oil. I am using our anti-inflammatory complex. On the bottle, it tells you how many drops to use. I'm adding 5 drops. I will also be using our antioxidant complex. On the bottle, it says to use 10 drops. I'm adding that in as well. This treatment is part of our Dermodality prescription facial system. Applying a thin layer around the face, let the Rasool clay dry completely. To expedite the drying process, go ahead and use a fan. I'm removing the clay mask with wet 4x4s. Once the mask is removed, apply your toner. I'm going to be using the mandelic toner. Again, this helps to bring down redness. It closes the pores and brings the pH to a normal balance, helping our products absorb. And to conclude the facial, we'll be using Dermodality's Sun Moist SPF.
So this concludes our prescription facial system and also our signature peel system. For more information, visit our website. Thank you.
That was great. So there's a little extra information directly. I think those that haven't used our pumpkin peel, we have all those protocols on our website. If you haven't, if you didn't get a chance to write it down when I mentioned it earlier, go to our education, go to Dermodality, of course, go to education resources, and we have PDFs for just about everything. And within the PDFs, we have our manual. Within our manual, we have all our protocols. So that protocol is there, like every one of them. You're going to say something.
Oh no, I actually wanted to. I was responding about my regimen there, and if we didn't get to anything, feel free to reach out.
True, and just so your email address is?
It's K Cameron, so KCAMERON at springsbodysculpting.com. It's kind of a long one, but my name, K Cameron at springsbodysculpting.com.
And if you have any direct questions you want to email me, it's tony@dermodality.com. And my direct, if you want to text me something directly, it's 760-505-4794. Real quick, we have a bundle, a special offer for, which we do, by the way, in every webinar, so you can take advantage of these every single week that we're doing our webinars, and we've been doing them every week, which is kind of fun. But it includes a 4-ounce pumpkin peel, a Mandelic peel 1 ounce, C Vitality peel 1 ounce, and intensive brightening peel. Everything that we kind of covered there. And normally that'd be $184. It's $147.60 for all 4 peels. So it's a great little special. Go ahead and shop online at dermodality.com. Also, beginning tomorrow, we have some great October specials, and there's some great retail specials that are going to be available. So you can also call, by the way, if you can't see it, it's 800-553-0405. I can't see it from my screen, but I know that number. I've only had it for 20 some years. So that I know is correct. But that concludes it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We did it in a pretty, 1 hour and 5 minutes. That's the
Record.
Yeah, it's record fast. So thanks a lot, you guys. I really appreciate, I truly, truly appreciate you coming in and visiting us. And I don't know how many of you are doing it weekly, but I can't thank you enough. So thanks a lot, Kelsey and Lauren. And
Thank you.
Peace out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, see you later.
Let's see ya.